Hey guys, played a game recently where I had an estimated rating of 2,900, which is pretty rare for me. If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, chess.com has added a relatively new feature where at the end of the game, if you click on game review and scroll down to the bottom, it tells you the estimated rating that they think you played that game for. You can see here I was at 2,900. The accuracy was 94.3. It was an interesting game with some nice, brilliant moves along the way. Let's take a look. All right, here we go. I was playing as black, and I played it's the England Gambit, but I wasn't really intending to go into the main line of the England Gambit. I wanted to play this other one, D6. This one, Hartlib Charlick Gambit. Basically, it's a lot of fun if they take you. You get to nice aggressive position, but if white knows what to do and plays knight to f3, followed by bishop to g5, it really just takes all the fun out of it. So that's why I don't play this one all the time. Thankfully, in this game, my opponent didn't know that, and they took, okay? So I captured, and basically when you play this, the idea is develop your pieces as quickly as you can, put your queen on e7, castle queenside, and use the fact that when you castle queenside, you get your rook lined up on white's queen, and that opens up a lot of tactical ideas, okay? So that's kind of the plan. Develop, queen to e7. I'm just basically following the plan, and castles, okay? Exactly like I mentioned. Developed all my pieces, and now I have a thread here. There's a trap that's happened to me multiple times before where white thinks that they can castle. And if you would like to pause, there's a nice move here for white. If you had a chance to look at that, it's based off the fact that we have the discovered check here. The discovered attack. And we can take here with check. Now, it's actually more accurate to trade this first, and then you take here with check, and you win the queen. Okay, so that's kind of a nice little one to be aware of. Now, the reason you needed to trade first is because if you take right away, you actually allow the knight to capture. And now when you take here, white has this move, and they're actually getting a lot of pieces. You can go here, and I think they can just take you or even just pile up. And it's actually kind of an equal position, even though you won the queen. So it's better to take. Anyway, little trap that you want to be aware of. Okay, but my opponent played bishop g5. Now, bishop g5, normally I would want to play the move knight to f6 because that's kind of where my knight wants to go to be developed. There was two reasons why I didn't play that. Number one is I wasn't sure about knight to d5. It looked pretty complicated, but it looked like maybe white could get away with this move. Now the engine is telling me they can't because I have queen takes e4, but in a blitz game I was like, that looks pretty tricky. And so I played the move f6. Now, the other thing about f6 that I like is it gains a tempo. So when you're playing these gambit type openings, how quickly you can keep the attack going without wasting time is super important. Because if white has time to, castle and get their rooks to the center and get everything, protected, remember, I sacrificed a pawn. I would just go into the middle game down a pawn, right? So the way that you kind of counter that is by continuing to put the pressure on your opponent. So that's what the idea of f6 was. Chasing the bishop back, which now puts the ball back in my court, and I can do something else. Again, creating a threat, not giving white time to just castle, get their king safe, and continue their development, right? Keep the pressure up. Okay, so they played bishop d3, blocking this. If you would like to pause, what do you think I played next in the spirit of continuing to keep the pressure up? You had a chance to look at that. I played the move knight to e5. Again, I'm creating threats that white kind of has to deal with, right? Now, you could say that everything's defended here, but I am threatening to potentially take this and mess up white's pawn structure, like if they castle. I was kind of preventing them from castling by playing this move. Also, I might think about taking this in the future. And right now, it looks like it's defended well enough, but just centralizing that knight, giving myself options. They played queen to e2, and here I think I played a pretty nice move. If you'd like to pause, what do you think I played next? If you had a chance to look at that, the move is f5. Now, how did I come up with thinking to, why did I think to play the move f5, which actually is the top engine move, by the way, or queen e6 and f5 are both. Anyway, here's what I was thinking. This bishop looks amazing. It's pinning the knight lined up on the queen. This bishop looks amazing. Okay, so those are good. This knight looks amazing. It's in the center of the board. It's attacking stuff. This rook, it looks amazing. This queen, it looks amazing. It's lined up here. It's defending my bishop. The only pieces that I don't like in my position are these guys over here. They're not doing anything. So I said, okay, how can I bring my knight into the game? Well, I can't go here and I can't go here. I could go to h6. That doesn't really look like the square I want my knight to go to. I can't go there. I can't go there. Like, what is it going to do from there? And so I said, well, let's play f5 to give the square for my knight where it really needs to go. And at the same time, maybe the fact that these pawns might get traded could actually help me open up and attack the king. And so when you look at it from that perspective, it's like, oh yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Let's play f5. So my opponent captured, and I played knight to f6, kind of following through with the plan. Now I'm starting to feel like, okay, my pieces are really looking better. Okay, h3. Now, what do you think I played here? Well, if you had a chance to look at that, I didn't want to retreat primarily because of that idea of tempo, right? Like, I don't want to waste time allowing white to attack me again. I have to go back, and now it's white's turn to get to do something else to help improve their position. So I decided to capture. Yes, I'm giving up a bishop for a knight, but I'm forcing, first of all, really bad pawn structure for white. White probably doesn't want to castle kingside anymore. I mean, you could do it, but that looks really risky to castle over there. And also, I'm forcing white to recapture, which means it's my turn again, and I can continue bringing pieces to the attack. So look at this. Now we have all of our major pieces in an attacking position, right? So they're doing something that's attacking white's position. So I'm feeling really great about that. Okay. White played a3, not the best move, but it's a tough position for white to play because you really don't want to castle either direction. We already talked about why you don't want to castle here. You could castle queenside, but then I'm going to probably just take this. And again, open up white's king, right? And look at this. My queen's ready to come in. And this does not look good for white. So tough position for white to play. They decided to attack my bishop. And I traded. Again, by trading, it forces white to recapture, and then I get to make another move, right? If I go back, then maybe, white can keep playing before, gaining some tempo. Now white gets to do something, and you can see the eval bar there. This is actually an equal position. So capturing, and then I played knight to d5. And this is actually a really funny position because you can see the symmetry here, right? You've got all the pawns and the bishops and the knights in the center. It's funny because normally bishops in an open position like this, where the bishops have, scope, are going to be better than the knights. But in this particular position, there's something that makes that not true. If you'd like to pause, what's the major difference in this position? If you had a chance to think about that, the big difference is that the rooks for white are doing nothing. They're stuck over here, not really doing anything. Look at my rooks, doing a great job. And also, my king is safe. White's king, not so much. Which way does it want to castle? I don't really know, right? You don't really want to go this way because then this falls. You don't really want to go this way. I don't know what white's king is going to do. So because of that, that's why it's actually a better position for black, right? Also, my knights are doing a pretty good job, right? Like, they're threatening a lot of stuff. So even though bishops are normally better than knights, this is a kind of a weird situation here. Okay, so white plays the move c4. And this was, I believe, the first brilliant move in the game that I had. So if you would like to pause, what do you think I played here? You had a chance to look at that. The move is knight to f4. Now, how did I come up with this move? So, of course, my knight is under attack. I started kind of thinking through some of these captures. Do I want to just make a trade? And I didn't really like the endgame enough. So one of the options was to take here with check, and then to just trade a bunch of stuff, right? Like this. Just trade everything. Check. King goes here. And yes, I can do this. And this is a pleasant position for me, but it's not totally winning. White's going to start bringing the rooks in. We're going to play an endgame. I mean, right now it's even pawns. Yes, I'm probably going to win this pawn, so I should win, but it's not that easy. So I said, rather than do that, there's got to be something better here, right? There's got to be something better than just trading. And as a general rule, when you are attacking your opponent, trading everything is probably going to help them. That's just kind of how it is. Just don't trade everything off if you're attacking, unless it leads to a completely winning endgame. And that rook ending that I showed you, I wouldn't say it's completely winning. So I said, okay, what else can I do? There's knight to c3, but I didn't quite see a great follow-up here. And so that's why I didn't play it. I thought knight to f4 was better. And here's the main reason. There's a tactical reason why I can even play there. If the bishop takes me, I have knight takes d3 with check. And also, I'm going to get the queen next move. Okay, the queen can't move because it's pinned like this. And after white captures, I simply just take this checkmate. So you can see how white can't take my knight. So that's why I felt like, okay, this is a good square. Also, it piles up on d3, which seemed like a nice capture to follow up with the knight coming in there. And so that's why I played knight to f4. Queen to d1. And I did follow up with capturing. Notice that I captured with this knight instead of this one. Why did I do that? because I want to open up the queen and the rook. Okay, so if I would have taken this way, it's not quite as good because my queen and rook are not part of the game yet, right? Okay, so we took this way. And if you would like to pause, what do you think I played here? All right, if you had a chance to look at that. So there's two obvious moves. And, you know, a lot of times the check is the first one that you would look at. But in this case, after the king just kind of slides to the side, I don't have a great follow-up. There is this move, knight takes f2, which does unleash the knight on the queen. But if white wants to, they can simply take. And let's say I take here, they simply take. And the game goes on. Yes, it's better for me. I should probably win this, you know, queen against the rook and a bishop. But white's hanging on, and that didn't look good enough. So I said, what looks better? Rook takes d3, gaining the tempo on the queen, and getting ready to sacrifice here. Because once I sacrifice here with my rook, and the queen and rook battery, along with the support of the knight, there's no way that the king's going to be able to survive, right? So queen to c2, and that's exactly what happened. Rook takes e3. I think this was the second brilliant move. And then the queen came in. And now if you would like to pause, how did I finish off the game? If you had a chance to look at that, this was a pretty easy one. You just simply take here with check, and it's over for white. He tried to run this way. If the queen would have came here, there's actually, you could just take that, followed by, where's the checkmate? Yeah, queen takes h3, and then checkmate like this. My opponent played, like I said, this one. And I should have immediately played rook e2. I played here first, which apparently is a little bit slower, but it also gets the job done. If the king goes here, you have checkmate. My opponent sacrificed, and after this, there's no way to stop the checkmate. Queen here, check, and they resigned because I'm simply taking this, followed by checkmate. So really nice game. Like I said, 2900 rating. I didn't really make too many mistakes, except in the very beginning. And so proud of that one, and hopefully it kind of illustrates when you play these aggressive gambit openings, you really want to keep the tempo up, look for ways to keep building the pressure. And then there's always going to be some moment in the game, kind of like right here, where once you get all your pieces in that good setup, you have to find some tactics to finish off the game, right? Because you imagine if I didn't see any tactics here and I said, oh, I guess I got to retreat, immediately look at that eval bar. My advantage is gone. In one move of just retreating, it's gone. So it's really important that you keep building the pressure and find that finishing blow. All right, guys. Hope you learned something and enjoyed that one. I'll see you next time. As always, thanks for watching. Stay sharp, play smart, and take care.